March 17, 1943, while Nazi Germany was still celebrating victories across Europe, a single decoded message landed on a desk in Berlin. The spy who read it went pale, because in that moment, he realized something the generals didn't know yet. Something Hitler refused to believe. Germany had already lost the war. This is the story of how one day changed everything, not on a battlefield, but in the shadows. The Abwehr, Germany's military intelligence, was drowning in information. Thousands of reports flooded in daily from occupied territories, double agents, and spies embedded across the Allied nations. Most of it was noise, but buried in that avalanche was a signal so clear, so terrifying, that it couldn't be ignored. His name was Johann Jebsen, codename Artist. And he was one of Germany's most successful intelligence officers. Charming, brilliant, and ruthlessly efficient. He'd been feeding Berlin critical intelligence since the war began. But on that cold March morning, something broke inside him. He'd just finished reading intercepts from the British double-cross system, though he didn't know that's what it was called yet. What he saw made his blood run cold. Every single German spy in Britain had been caught. Not most of them. Not half. Every single one, and the British weren't executing them. They were turning them. Think about what that means for a second. Imagine you're fighting a war, and you suddenly realize your enemy isn't just reading your mail, they're writing it. Every piece of intelligence coming from Britain, every report about troop movements, factory production, morale, it was all fiction. Carefully crafted lies designed to lead Germany into a trap. Jebsen sat in his office, chain-smoking, as the implications cascaded through his mind. Operation Fortitude, the deception plan for D-Day, hadn't even happened yet, but its foundation was already in place. The British had created an entire phantom army in southeast England, and German intelligence was reporting its every move as fact. But here's the truly chilling part. Jebsen couldn't tell anyone. He'd already been feeding information to the British through his friend Duco Pope of another double agent. If Jebsen exposed the double-cross system, he'd expose himself. And in Nazi Germany, the penalty for treason was unthinkable. He'd seen what happened in the interrogation cells. He knew the Gestapo didn't ask questions, they extracted confessions. So he sat there, holding the secret that could have changed the entire trajectory of the war. And he said nothing. Let me take you back a bit. When the war started, Britain was paranoid about Nazi spies, and rightfully so. They expected hundreds, maybe thousands of German agents to infiltrate the country. Mi-5 launched the largest counterintelligence operation in history. And they caught them. All of them. Some were arrested within hours of landing. Others lasted weeks. But by 1941, British intelligence had rounded up every German spy on their soil. They gave each one a choice: work for us or face execution. Most chose to live. What followed was something unprecedented. Britain didn't just neutralize Germany's spy network, they weaponized it. Every captured agent was fed false information to send back to Berlin. The beauty was in the details. The lies had to be believable, so they mixed truth with fiction. Real bombing targets with fake ones. Actual casualties with inflated numbers. The Germans suspected nothing. Why would they? Their spies were sending exactly the kind of intelligence they expected. By March 1943, the double-cross system was an orchestra of deception, and Britain was conducting a symphony. But they had no idea that someone on the inside, someone like Jebsen, had figured it out. Jebsen started drinking more. His colleagues noticed he seemed distant, distracted. He'd always been a skeptic of Nazi ideology. He'd joined the Abwehr to avoid the SS, not because he believed in Hitler's vision. But now, he was trapped in a nightmare of his own making. Every report he filed felt like a lie. Every briefing he attended was theater. He watched senior officers make strategic decisions based on intelligence he knew was poisoned. And he watched the war effort slowly, inevitably collapse under the weight of its own delusions. The Eastern Front was devouring entire armies. Stalingrad had fallen just weeks earlier. The Afrika Korps was in retreat. And here, in the halls of German intelligence, officers were celebrating reports of British weakness that were complete fabrications. Jebsen knew something historians wouldn't fully understand for decades. Germany wasn't just losing the war on the battlefield. They were losing it in the information war and they didn't even know they were fighting one. By 1944, the house of cards began to collapse. Jebsen's drinking got worse. His loose talk caught attention. The Gestapo started asking questions, and in April of that year, he was arrested in Lisbon and dragged back to Berlin. He disappeared into Oranienburg concentration camp. What happened to him there remains unclear. Some reports say he was executed. Others claim he died during the camp's evacuation. But one thing is certain, Johann Jebsen died knowing the truth that Germany's leadership refused to see. Meanwhile, the double-cross system continued its work. On June 6, 1944, Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy. German reinforcements were held back waiting for the real invasion at Calais that would never come. The phantom army Jebsen had read about in those intercepts had done its job perfectly. Historians estimate the deception shortened the war by months, maybe years. It saved hundreds of thousands of lives. And it all hinged on Germany's complete blindness to the fact that their intelligence network had been compromised from the very beginning.